Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee meeting. Today is September the 16th, 2024. We do have a quorum, and I'll call this meeting to order. The first order of business is I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve from Ms. Davison and a second from Mr. Oliver. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're going to jump right into it. We got some past festivities here to talk about, so we'll turn it over to Miss Kathy and talk a little bit about the carnival.
All right. Carnival was August 29th through the 31st. It was hot. Had a great turnout. It's the same company we've used the past 3 years and heard nothing but compliments about it. It was a good time. So, pretty much it.
I went up there for a little while. Anybody got any comments about it? Did everybody else make it up?
I made it up.
I was at the beach.
You was out in Florida, wasn't you? All right. And then this past weekend, Miss Kathy.
All right, Fall Festival and the Cruise In. Of course, the Cruise In was canceled due to the weather forecast. We had a lot of feedback that some of the displays, the cars with the weather forecast had backed out. And as of Thursday, Friday's forecast was pretty grim. So we ended up having to cancel that one. Fall Festival, weather held out till 3:30. It poured on us at 3:30 up at the office as we were all getting ready to leave. So it turned out to be a pretty day, Saturday. So had some vendor feedback. The vendors I heard from were happy. Thought it was a good turnout. So that's about it.
I actually thought about you guys when I was sitting in my recliner watching football about 3:30.
Foreign.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, Mother Nature.
She's fickle.
So the band on Friday night, you didn't have to pay them, did you?
I did not.
Huh?
I did not pay them.
Okay. That's why I didn't know if there was a clause in there or something about that, how that worked.
No.
Okay.
How were the kid entrepreneurs up there? How was their market?
I believe the same probably as ours. She said that with her festival she's done this year, she's seen lower numbers, and as we did as well. I think
I saw a lot of people up there.
there were, but the vendors wise, she brought 20, and her registrations or her participation was about the same as ours. She said it's been a theme this whole year with festivals. It's just the registration numbers aren't where they have been in the past few years. But I haven't talked to her since then, but I did see quite a bit of people up in their area during the day. So.
And my granddaughter went up there, and she came home with a bag full of stuff that she had bought. And apparently one of them had pickles. She said they were the best pickles that she'd ever eaten in her entire life.
I heard somebody else talking about the pickles, so same thing.
Well, maybe we can have them back.
Alderwoman Haas had some down at the Box 55 tent, and I tried them. They were really good. Really good. So, but I'll take the blame for the weather because I had commented on Facebook the week before about how pretty it was looking up. David and Kathy blamed me for that. So, but it cleared up.
They turned out good. It was just we were fighting a tropical storm for 3 days. So, we're always on the fence. Are we going to cancel or are we going to move forward? And it's one of them things. If we had canceled, we'd have taken a beating because the weather turned out nice. You can't win for losing.
And a lot of people, I had a discussion with a couple people the other day on social media. There's just way too many moving parts to postpone or move to another weekend or something. There's just too many moving parts to put that thing together. Not enough time. So, but overall, it was, it was okay. And Mother Nature's not your friend. All that second guessing, and Still better than year before last. Was it year before last?
2 years ago, we got,
Yeah, when
Yeah,
monsoon
always saturated.
showed
Yep.
up. So we'll move on to the new and upcoming stuff. Goblins and Goodies and the zombie dance.
Okay, so that event is October 26th at the park. It is from noon to 3. This year, we have added a costume contest. So up at Pavilion A at 1 o'clock, we'll do a costume contest. We've got age groups 4 and under, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, and 15 and up. We'll be awarding gift cards for first, second, and third place winners. And then at 2 o'clock from 2 to 3, we'll have the zombie dance with the Halloween theme music and the DJ. And that'll be at the pavilion as well. So, and we've already got several registrations for booths for that day as well.
So I'm gonna be a little smart alecky. Is that a word?
Not you.
Smart alecky.
Say it's not so.
Can the, for the Goblins and Goodie Walk, can the vendors throw candy at the kids?
I would request they not do that.
That's a liability.
What if it's a popcorn ball?
That's a liability. You hit them in the eye.
I got you. It's a inside joke.
Yeah. What if they're asking for it though?
Yeah, but good. That'd be a fun time in there again. It's another pray for good weather. That's about all you can do. And I guess here's something new that we hadn't talked about, the Veterans Day ceremony.
All right, so Veterans Day ceremony is on November 11th at 11 a.m. It'll be here at City Hall in the Boardroom. We have one confirmed speaker right now, which is the new junior ROTC teacher at Laverne High School, Henry Canis?
That's right. I met him the other day. He's a lieutenant colonel.
Correct, yes. And I believe you pronounce it Canis.
I believe you're correct.
So he is confirmed. I've got a few other feelers out for speakers, and I haven't got confirmation back on them yet. So,
Super nice fella. I met him the other day and we talked a little bit about it. That'll be November 11th at what time?
at 11 a.m. It's 11:11 at 11. And up here at City Hall. And we'll be selling the flags and the memorial bricks, which are always for sale, but we'll post and start advertising them for the event as well.
Did we, I don't know if I asked this last year. If I did, I'll ask it every year. Did we getting away from doing it down at the wall?
We have, because about 2 or 3 years in a row it rained. So here, you don't have to worry about a last-minute rain-out plan. And one year, we did change it to here. We had it as a backup, but we still had people show up at the Veterans Wall for the ceremony, not realizing that the backup plan was here. So it's easier right now just to go ahead and schedule it here.
yeah, city offices are closed that day, so that makes it easier to use this building also. So, it was just easier for us fighting the weather on that event. It seemed like every year we were getting rain on that one also. But I don't remember you posting that one on Facebook. We'll have to take the blame for that one ourselves.
I know one year we had it down there, a lot of people showed up, including the seniors, and it was cold. And I mean cold.
And I think there was one year it was really cold and drizzled on top of that. It was just miserable outside that day.
All right, any questions about it? Before we move on to this next one, I'd just like to reiterate, as I always do all the time, is I'd like to ask you guys to please come out to these things as much as you possibly can. I think it's good for the city when I can introduce you as one of the Parks and Rec board members, and I think it looks good, and people like to ask questions, some of the things you may not know, but I think it looks good if everybody can come out. So the last thing we're going to talk about here is the Universal Sports League contract. Myself, David, Andrew, Kathy had a meeting with Universal Sports League, and I'll let them tell you about what their thinking and the recommendation that David presents to us at the Board of Mayor and Aldermen will depend on how this board votes this evening. So, David?
Yeah, Andrew and I are probably going to tag team this one. This has got two elements to it. The first one is they've had the contract for the last 2 years, and their numbers are growing in the spring, but their numbers aren't there for the fall to actually operate a fall league. So they've had a fall clinic over the last two seasons. So what they requested, or they came to us, which we're in full agreement of, is reducing the amount contractually that they owe to the city, because their contract is based on spring and fall seasons. So if they're only having one, our mind is that should be doable. We just want to make you guys aware of that. So they didn't really request a figure. I know several years ago, previous organization, we kind of did the same thing when COVID hit. They weren't able to operate. We couldn't see holding their feet to the fire for something where they're not able to generate any revenue. And it's not as much as generating the revenue as their flat fee, which is $8,000 for 2 seasons, spring and fall, kind of goes to the field maintenance, chalk, paint, supplies for the field, marmound, clay. And if we're not using that product, there's really no sense in trying to recoup something that we're really not putting on the field. So just to let you guys know, that's where we're at with that we plan on taking that before BOMA. We would like a favorable recommendation from you guys for that. I think it's good business on our side to do that for them, because if they're not providing stuff for the kids during that one season, then should we really hold their feet to the fire and say, well, your contract says this? So that's going to be our recommendation. Of course, it'll be up to the board, mayor, and alderman for the vote on that.
So no more fall ball, just spring ball.
Well, this year, they're still
Yeah.
moving forward.
I was saying
that-
next year.
Yes. So, there's so much stuff going on. Soccer, football, cheerleading. Your spring season is the season for baseball and softball.
Yeah.
Until the league starts to grow. It may not grow to ever sustain a fall league. We're not sure. But they would still have that capability to provide both. So if we find, next year we're in the same situation, then and we have to come back before you guys and request that we adjust their contract fee again, maybe the following year, we go ahead and adjust it into their contract instead of having to make amendments all the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Question, how much have they been paying, and are they paid up?
They have been paying. Last year, they had the same situation. They didn't have a fall league. They did have a fall clinic, and they did not request to have a reduction, so they did pay their full contract price last year. This year, they had some money in reserves that they started an all-star program for the league, which they invested quite a bit of their reserves into getting that up and going. And I think if we held them to that additional $4,000, that would really be strapping them, because it's going to limit what they have to put back into the spring league. So it's basically taking their contractual fee down from 8 to 4. Of course, that would have to be a contract amendment drawn up by city admin and the attorney and presented to the board for approval. That's just where our thoughts are with that.
Could y'all tell me, Universal Sports League, what all,
Well, they are a nonprofit organization.
That's Julie in basketball.
Yeah.
Julie also
Yeah.
basketball?
Yeah,
Yeah, but this is pertaining strictly
yeah,
to
they do
baseball.
baseball and basketball. This is pertaining just to baseball. But Julie and Derek, same where you coach at in basketball, the same people that run baseball.
Yeah. During basketball, they deal with the schools. For
Right.
baseball, they deal with.
Yeah, when we were looking for a nonprofit, they already had their nonprofit status, and they submitted for an RFP to operate the league, and that's who this board decided to go with. and they've had it for 2 full years as of now.
Yeah,
Their contract
that's
will
a-
be up at the end of November.
Right, that's who we voted for, right?
Yes,
2
sir.
years ago, okay. And so, yeah, I haven't heard him complaining about it before. It was all kinds of complaining off and on.
Well,
People going to Facebook.
yeah, so just to give you a little history, the previous organization or two were brought in to run a rec league, and then the focus somewhere along the lines shifted to travel ball. So as a city and a parks department, our main focus is on the rec league, and this is what they're providing.
Now, David, before, I thought about this earlier, I should have called you. Before we go into the next talks about, I guess, what Andrew's gonna talk about, if we're gonna vote on this tonight, should we do a vote on what you just talked about and then do a different vote on what Andrew's fixing to talk about?
I would, and it's a favorable recommendation. We're always comfortable. That's why you guys we don't want to make decisions as a park department solely and not take your input into consideration. I think that's, years past, it was parks going to do what they want to do, but then that would there would be no need for this board to be sitting here if we don't take your recommendations into consideration.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we would definitely like favorable or unfavorable, but we just wanted to present that to you. That's where we stood on it. We think it's fair, and I think the league's heading in the right direction, and I think it will give them a little more ammo in their back pocket for spring season.
But I still think we need to take that into consideration as far as the recommendation to you, so you can take it before us, that we do this in 2 increments here. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. I think that would be best instead of putting it all together.
Yeah, because it's going to, when it approaches the board, it's going to be 2 separate items anyway. So it won't be voted on all at one. It'll be a contract amendment to reduce their fee, and then the other will be the future proposed contract.
Okay, so do we need to
Gotta make a motion.
make a motion now to,
I would, so we could put this one behind us and move on to the second item under that.
okay, so we need a motion and a second
I'll make the motion.
to accept or deny.
I'll make the motion to accept or deny.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, so motion by Chuck and a second by Laura.
And this is to reduce the cost.
This is to just reduce the cost by half. Felicia?
Aye.
Chuck?
Aye.
Kevin? Laura?
Aye.
Motion carries, so we will move on. I need you all to really listen close to what Andrew is fixing to talk about. It's very important.
All right, the second element to this, their current contract ends October 31st this year. So, like I said, this has been proposed to them. Their current user agreement, they have the ability to use all 8 fields at Veterans Park currently. And that's $8,000. They can host practices, rec league, tournaments. The new proposal would be for the Universal Sports League to only have control, or they're using just the back quad. So that'd be fields 5, 6, 7, and 8. The league currently hosts probably about 150 rec kids. So they would still be able to do rec season, travel ball games, tournaments. They would have sole use of that back facility. The front quad, fields 1 through 4, we are looking at possibly, depending on this board's recommendation, about seeking out an organization where we can lay groundwork for a foundation for a soccer league. So that's been brought in the past. It'd have to start out small. It'd be younger kids, probably 10 and under. But we're just trying to give a place where we can start that groundwork and move forward from there.
Do we have somebody in mind for soccer?
At the moment, no, because we're wanting, if this board gives a favorable recommendation, we can go out and seek nonprofits that are possibly willing to
Yeah, I just didn't know if
participate or
somebody-
interested. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know if somebody showed up like last year.
no.
Yeah, okay.
No, because we would be, right now, I think the facilities we have could accommodate a 10 and under on those 4 fields up there. Anything other than that, we would have to look at expansion somewhere down the line.
The 5, 6, 7, and 8's enough for them to do for ball. That's,
I think the 4 fields we have would be enough for at least that age group. I think when you move up and you get to the bigger size soccer fields, what we have now won't accommodate.
no, I meant the baseball. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah,
That's going to be enough
That
space
would,
for them.
that would be enough space to host the amount of kids that we currently have for rec
Okay.
league ball. At the moment, there would be no groundbreaking transformation at our front 4 fields. So if soccer didn't work out and we needed 8 fields in the future, we could revisit this. Now, if soccer jump starts and has great numbers and the city wants to move forward with upgrading the facilities there or building a different facility, then that would be a different talk. But at the moment, that we're just trying to lay a groundwork foundation to start a soccer league here in Laverne. Because currently, I think our economic development team said that over 50% of the households in our community are diverse. Mm-hmm. So we have a very large international population, and football, as they call it, or soccer, is a worldwide sport. So I think once we start that, it's going to grow drastically. So that's the plan as far as.
So there's a plan to go back and forth with the fields if we need to. Like if soccer
If-
expands or baseball expands, we can.
If need be, at the moment, yes. Because like I said, the city's we're not investing money to transform the facility completely. We're just wanting to lay the groundwork, and then if need be in the future, our department would go before BOMA and request those funds to do upgrades to the facility to convert into some type of soccer facility.
Are we hoping to have a spring league for soccer?
I think soccer runs spring and fall.
Yeah, but I mean, like, is that the goal? Is to be ready by
I
spring?
don't think we could, realistically, there's no way we could get it done by spring of 2025.
Okay.
Fall, maybe, because everything would have to go out for an RFP.
Right.
And I don't know how many organizations are out there that can do a 10 and under or a 12 and under, other than maybe a YMCA. There may be a couple others out there. We really haven't explored that. But that would be, we'd have to send some feelers out, and Felicia may be able to talk more about it with the RFP, because I don't know how many, we can't reach out to an organization and say, we've got this, you come, because they physically have to go through the paperwork and would have to come before this board. Kind of like everything we've done in the past. You guys would have to make the recommendation on the best organization. But on paper, it looks like we're taking something away from the current ball league, USL, and we're really not, because I think, even though they have control of 8 fields now, I think what they're doing now, they can be done on 4 fields.
And I believe USL even agrees with us that they can operate on those 4 fields. So they even understand the importance that soccer brings to the community.
So one of the things that I had mentioned was USL having their tournaments in the off-season to raise money, that when it came time, if that was doable, that we could block a few weekends out. This is assuming the soccer league is up and going, that we could block out a couple of weekends with no soccer, so they could have huge tournaments up there for the older kids and reline the fields and change it from soccer to baseball. Is that a fair statement?
It is a fair statement. I think logistically, if we try to pursue both of them, there's going to be some issues that we're going to have to work out with both leagues. You've got the issue of concessions in the front. If a soccer league's running out of there, how do we navigate not having soccer this weekend and the ball league this weekend? I think there's some, what they brought in here recently has been one-day four-field tournaments.
I mean, over the last 2 years, I think we've probably used all 8 fields, maybe 2 weekends.
Okay.
So a lot of the softball tournaments they're bringing in is usually 4-field tournaments one day. So
It's definitely going to be uncharted waters for us, but
So because we're using, they or whoever's using city property fields, it can't just be some folks that really want to help and coach the kids and stuff. It would actually have to be a nonprofit organization that, with insurance and all that, to come in and do it.
Yes, sir.
yes, because we as a
Alicia
parks,
over here, yeah, I know.
well, saying we as a department, we don't have a
Alright.
dedicated staff member that could oversee the league. So it would definitely have to be an organization to come in that could take care of all their fundraising, their sponsorships, their sign-ups, uniform ordering, placing orders for concessions. So it would definitely have to be their own entity operating that.
Liability insurance.
Is that something that you do, Felicia, if it comes down to that, the RFP, you would hunt for people that do that?
Try.
You try to, I know, but
It's hard to find people that do just certain ages of anything. Most of them try to do from little all the way up, but
I got it.
it's always worth it. The YMCA, I know at one time the YMCA used Burgess Road and did, because my daughter played soccer.
It's packed over there every weekend now with adults from Murfreesboro. I stop and talk to them.
Yeah, so that is my neighborhood, and so we did discuss that at our homeowners meeting, and we are willing, if someone brings us a proposal to lease that field again. We currently have a group, they don't live in our neighborhood, but we are letting them use it.
Would they have to also be a nonprofit?
What? No, we would be leasing it to the city.
Oh, okay.
And then you could in turn, if you want to bring the soccer people in, they fall under you just like they would at the park. That's the way it was explained to me. That may be a legal question. I just know that when we discussed it before, at the different places throughout the city that we could potentially host soccer games at, that the park in my neighborhood was, it was mentioned, and it was basically, you just have to bring us a proposal, and our board would have to approve leasing it back to the city like we used to. And I think back then it was like $1 or something for X amount of time. So, I mean, if we continue to grow, that may be, if we can get soccer up and going, that's what we'd have to probably be looking at throughout the city, as little patches of places they can go.
Well, I think once Felicia gets us a good program, I think we're all in agreement that soccer's going to implode, because that is the new,
You mean explode?
no,
Implode. He's right.
thank you.
I really do believe it will.
Yeah,
I mean, we know it's very much needed. Everywhere
It's
you
very
go
popular,
throughout
and
the
it's
city,
very,
you see the kids playing it.
yeah, I think with their, as Andrew said, I think with their diversity in the city, that it's left up to people like us and this board and Parks and Rec to make sure that those same children, whether they're from Mexico, Honduras, wherever, down south of the border, that those young men and women have a place to play their sport. I think that's something that we need to try to come up with. I know we've got to start somewhere, so I guess
I'd like to get my grandkids signed up.
I might add that both of I had 2 kids that played.
Yeah, I'd like to
soccer.
have something local, because now it's either Smyrna or Murfreesboro.
well, and I've said this before, I definitely want somewhere for the children to play I personally don't know anything about soccer.
Rough sport.
I know it is, and maybe even Kevin, the way in, he's been coaching football and basketball and baseball for a long time. I don't know how much he knows about soccer.
Little than nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah. My daughter played and I watched her, but that was it.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the rules of the game.
But I know that it's huge, and I think the kids in our community need that. I think it would be good. I think it'll explode,
Well, I
implode,
was-
blow up.
I was disappointed that the last one fell through and didn't.
We're not gonna go through that again, I can assure you.
I was disappointed because I really thought it's time for soccer.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's time for soccer. but-
So when we go to vote on this, we are voting to recommend for what?
Well, I think we wanted to make you guys aware that that was the direction we were heading, was to, instead of USL having access to all 8 fields, to cut them back to 4, just to make sure everybody on this board was agreement, since you guys brought them in, on the stipulation of 2 seasons, spring and fall on 8 fields. Even said that, we think they can do what they need to on those 4 fields. And then giving us the go-ahead to pursue soccer again once his contract passes. And it'll be, if we want to move forward with this contract, they said notify them. If this board had any concerns, to notify them when we were done. If there are no concerns, we will write the contract up and change the dates and change the wording in it to reflect the 4 fields, and then present that to our Board of Mayor and Aldermen, but it probably will not be until the November meeting for their new contract to go on. Which there was some stuff we were gonna clean up in their contract anyway. Like right now, it expires October 31st and starts, does it start November 1st?
Yeah, because when they came in, it was right there in the fall, so we're just wanting to do January 1st to December 31st, to make that clear.
Yeah, it's just less confusing. All of our other contracts run January through December. So that would be one thing we would change in there, and that wouldn't affect you guys any. But we did want to make you aware that that was the direction we were headed in, pursue soccer and taking them down to 4 fields and cutting their fee. Their fee would be $4,000 reflective of the 4 fields instead of the 8.
So the motion would be to approve to let the Parks and Rec Department to move ahead and pursue soccer.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that correct?
And that you guys were in agreement with us changing their contract for the future.
I'll
So,
make that motion.
okay, we got a motion from Felicia. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Second from Chuck. Kevin?
Okay.
Aye.
Do you want me to vote on it or comment?
Yeah, no.
You vote.
Vote on it.
Okay. Okay, I say,
Okay. Laura?
Aye.
Chuck?
Aye.
Felicia?
Aye.
All right, so it passes, so David will bring this before the BOMA board, and of course, we'll vote on it. But I just want to say that as much as I love baseball, I love the fact that I hope this time, this go around, that we can finally bring some soccer to this community for the children, and we'll start them young. And I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe once it ever gets up and running, even with those young ages, the outcry from the community for older will come in, and we can start looking for
We've been talking about it for years.
green space.
We've literally been talking about it for years, and I'm with Felicia. I really thought last time we were so excited, people in the public were so excited, and then it just kind of flopped. So this time we're gonna keep our fingers crossed that we can get these kids some soccer here, not Smyrna, not Murfreesboro, here. So,
And I'm gonna be honest, I think with the older ones, it would keep some of them out of trouble if they had soccer to play.
Oh, anytime you can keep a child busy, regardless, young or old, it's, an idle mind is a terrible thing, so, all right. Any comments or questions or anything about anything?
I got one. So this don't have anything, this has nothing right now to do with basketball.
No, that's a
No.
whole
It's
separate
just-
thing.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah. they deal with
Actually,
the schools.
actually, Kevin, and Kevin's new, so he's got the, yeah.
other ones, eh?
I know it's kind of confusing, but basketball will never come before us up here. Because it's not part of the city, it's part of the county. It'll never come before us. So you don't have to worry about the USL, the Universal Sports League, because the city doesn't have any control over that. The only thing that we do is we do talk about it. Like at our BOMA meetings, Miss Carol, myself, we'll talk about people getting out and doing that. We'll talk about it here, promoting it. But we don't have any say-so over it. We can't do anything for it. It's all up to you guys and coaches and stuff. 'Cause
Well, I think what he's
I'm just
talking
trying to
about
say,
is,
we doing this for, I know, we do all this for baseball, soccer and all that. But why we can't find a gym for basketball?
we don't have city schools here.
We don't have jurisdiction.
We don't have jurisdiction, yeah.
Okay, county.
Trust me, back in the day, I used to have 4 schools.
Yeah, we had the
And,
middle school, the
but
elementary.
things
and all
have
that.
changed, and getting a school now with the liability issues, and everybody's out to sue somebody. Like at the parade the other day, we couldn't throw no candy, so. But I feel you.
Right.
But you can come to the board meetings, and you can stand up here on camera
Uh-huh.
and talk about basketball.
When's the next meeting?
When is our next meeting? October the 3rd or something?
Next workshop's next Thursday, isn't it?
Thursday after that, I believe.
The 20th.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
it would be nice if we had the funding to have our own community center with a gym in it. Then we could do that.
Yeah, now then the city would definitely have control over that, yeah.
That's where we need to be looking, because they don't have anywhere to practice. And
I have something to say.
we have a half a gym to practice in.
Trust me, it's,
Yeah. I mean, if guys want to play, but you can't teach them nothing in no half a gym, and
it's been an ongoing headache for many years, and, I wish that, we got the land up there now for a community center. We just don't have the $20 million to build it. And so you got to catch 22, because people who don't have children, who are not interested in sports, if you spend $20 million on a building, they're going to be irate because it doesn't do anything for them. You got people over here like myself that don't have any children in school, but yet I pay school taxes. But I get it. I understand it, and I know why I do that, but there has to be a big funding. I don't even think there's a grant for anything like that, is there?
I'm not sure that, we don't have a active grant writer right now, I don't think so. I don't know that there is.
Okay. Anyway, Felicia, we'll move on away from that. What is it?
I just want it to be clear that the issue with throwing candy at a parade has been a no-no with our insurance for the city for about 8 or 9 years now.
Yeah, but we've kind of ignored it,
I know.
and we can't do that no more, and I
The
can
problem
still,
is, I'm afraid somebody's gonna get hurt one day.
complain and cry and whine.
And it's because parents don't watch their kids and they run out in the road. And
I get it. I get it.
so you've got goblins and goodies that you can
You can walk around and
You
get,
walk around and get all kinds of candy. I will make sure y'all have plenty of candy for that.
you can make 4 or 5 loops. Just keep going until everything's give out. All right, our next meeting will be October the 21st at 6 p.m. So with that, I will call this meeting adjourned.